Good morning, meteorologist Bob Acarfrio with today's tropical update for Thursday, August 11, 2011. Well, we have a few areas we're watching in the tropics this morning. Tropics are starting to perk up here as we proceed into the middle of August. This is the time when things really begin to start heating up, and we have the potential to be tracking a couple systems next week here. So let me just show you what we have. According to the National Hurricane Center, they have 3 areas circled, and these are the 3 areas we're going to be watching through the weekend. Our first area, they give about a 10% chance. This one is off the southeast coast. This trough of low pressure here, as we've had a front that's come down and it's kind of stalled out in this area here. This one, out of all the disturbances I'm going to show you, this one probably has the least likely to develop into a tropical system. If it does, it's not going to move west. It's going to actually move out to sea, possibly affecting Bermuda. Our second area here that they have a 30% chance of development, this is now Invest 92L, a broad area of low pressure. This is about 650 miles west of the Cape Verdes. Seems a little less organized this morning than yesterday. It's funny, they give this 30%. Now we have to the right here, and this one is pretty much south of the Cape Verde Islands to the east of 92L. This is Invest 93L. They give this one 20%. I'm not a big fan of these percentages. I think they very confusing at times, but I would probably put this one in the yellow and then make this one in the orange, but that's just me. It seems that to me Invest 93L is better organized at this time. But anyway, these will be the 3 areas we're going to be watching through the weekend for development. If I had to pick a winner out of all of them to develop this weekend, I would guess my bet would go on Invest 93L here. I think Invest 92L is going to be a little slower to get going here, and I'll show you why in a minute here. And then again, off the southeast coast, that's going to be our outside chance for development. All right, let's look at the satellite views here. This is courtesy of WSI.com, Intellicast here, their satellite view here. And you can see, here's our trough of low pressure here off the southeast coast. Nothing really happening yet. Couple disturbances riding down. Could really energize this trough here, maybe get some spin going. Here's Invest 92L, not looking too healthy, pretty stretched out and broad right now, fighting some drier air. And then you see here Invest 93L, again looking much better organized in my opinion than 92L. And you could see it's not feeling the effects of this dry air as much as 92L, as 92L is kind of clearing out the way. And this happens a lot of times when these systems are right next to each other, kind of clearing the path out for 93L to get it's definitely in a moisture environment. Just for interest's sake, here's what's left of Emily, and then we have Emily's twin, or a piece of Emily, actually broke off to the south here and is going to move around the ridge, but don't expect anything to develop out of that. Water vapor loop, what do we have here? So here's that drier air, and 92L is really fighting a more stable environment than 93L is. So 92L, in my opinion, is going to take a little longer to develop. Also, we have a TUT feature right in here, and 92Ls also might be fighting some shear here coming up in the next few days as well. We've seen a lot of the intensity models really kind of go down on the intensity forecast for 92L coming up. So again, between dry air and shear, 92L might take a little time to get going here. And it might not be until early next week when it's north of the islands here till it really gets going and gets developed. Caribbean Gulf, clear. Unfortunately for Texas, nothing going on. Be nice to get them some rain one day, would be nice. Maybe soon. I don't know. It's a tough pattern for them right now. Again, we got a floater on 92L here, and just seeing the visible look this morning, pretty disorganized mess right now. Pretty broad area. Looks like, where is the center? That's hard to tell. There's really no center right now. So it's really this big mass right in here that's kind of rotating around here, and we'll see what if this can consolidate. We don't have a floater on 93L yet. It's still too far to the east, but we will get one on him pretty soon here. Vorticity with 92L, you know, not looking terrible, but not looking that great. That's to be expected in a system that's just trying to get going. And again, that shear that I was talking about, here's 92L right here. 93L's back in here. Shear's pretty good all in this area here. But then we see this tut feature right in here, and here's that higher shear that 92L could be running into in a few days. So between the drier air and the shear, like I said, 92L I believe is going to be a little slow to get going here, and I believe 93L, if we wanted to guess who would be Franklin, I would think 93L is going to be Franklin, and maybe we save 92L for Gert. Okay? I mean, unless the system off the southeast coast decides to pull a trick on us and get going here as it moves out to sea, that could be a Franklin or a Gert as well. And of course we have Harvey down the road there as well. Saharan air layer, and you could see, so here's where it's kind of cleared it out. I mean, there's not, drier air is still there, and the environment's kind of stable around 92L right now, but it's kind of cleared the way for 93L to slip down in here and be in a real moist environment. We have another push of a Saharan air layer kind of coming off to the north of these systems, but it's far enough away from these two systems that it will not affect it at all. Okay, models. We always want to look at these, and I'll give you some ideas of what I think is going to happen. This is for Invest 92L, the one that's farther west. And again, I've said this yesterday. I believe this system's going to move out to sea, and that's where the pattern is right now. And as you remember from last year with Danielle and Earl, at this point we were kind of saying, all right, is it going to move east or west of Bermuda? That's really if 92L develops. It's still an if. I believe that's where it's going to go. It's going to move well north of the islands. I don't expect the islands to get affected by 92L at all. Then it's going to say, all right, how close does it get to Bermuda? And if it does decide to push a little west of Bermuda, how about our friends up in Canada? We remember this routine from last season. So that's what we're going to be watching. I don't, right now, again, I'm more on that 80-20, 80% not going to affect the U.S. at all, 20% still out there. It's still a long way out there, let's face it. But the pattern is showing in the next 7 days that more than likely this is moving out to sea. And again, will it get close to Bermuda? Could it affect Canada? Okay. Invest 93L may be another story. We're going to see a quick little pattern shift in about that 10-day period. We're going to be showing that in the next 5 days or so, the NAO is going to go from, it's tanked into the negative right now, to moving quickly up to the positive. When that happens, we could see these systems move a little farther west. And I think that's what's going to happen with Invest 93L. Probably getting closer to the islands, and then from there, again, this is a long way off. This is over 10 days away from, even if it's going to get close to the United States, could get closer to the U.S. Early run models here. These models in here, this is all the GFS ensemble models, and you can see a lot of them pushing this system farther west. And I'm going to show you the differences between the GFS and the Euro in a minute here. But anyway, the thinking is Invest 93L will come farther west. Okay. And I believe could be our first hurricane of the Atlantic season. We'll put that out there as well. GFS model. So here we go. This is for the next 7 days. It's going to point out a few little features here once we get it running. So, possible system off the southeast coast, Invest 92L, Invest 93L. You see with Invest 92L, the GFX actually takes a little longer to get it going, and that's what I believe is going to happen as well. But again, north of the islands, and then out to sea we go, getting close to Bermuda. And then here's Invest 93L sitting in about a week, pretty close to the northern Leeward Islands, as we watch it go here. Again, trough here, and then we also have another trough coming this way. And that's where we're going to be at here with Invest 93L about a week away. Does this second trough that's coming through the United States, Midwest here, does that kick this out or does it move farther west? Again, long way off, a week, over a week away. We don't know, but I expect 93L and which could be our first hurricane of the Atlantic season to move farther west. So those of you living in the islands here, especially the northern leewards, something to watch out for. Long way off though. Euro model, it's kind of opposite. Doesn't really it doesn't really develop 93L as much, but it develops 92L, which is right here more. And again, same kind of pattern there as it moves close to Bermuda. Now, we see what's left. This is the 850 vorticity of kind of what's left of 93L right here, near just approaching the Bahamas here in about 10 days. And the funny thing is that the Euro model actually has a stronger trough here in 10 days than the GFS. If we look at the 10 days here, going out with the 500 millibar heights here, you could see the Euro has a more established East Coast trough, much more flatter pattern for the GFS. So that's that switch in 10 days. And where will our systems be by then? Well, Invest 92L should be gone by then, but Invest 93L might slip under here. And you could see on the GFS this ridge starting to build here across southeast Canada. So the facts of the matter is Invest 93L could come farther west. And again, the NAO, we're going to see that switch to the positive. And that could bring, traditionally, that means systems will come closer to the United States. So just kind of showing you that little bit of pattern shift. I don't think it's going to be a long-term pattern shift. And like I told you earlier, we're going to see these little shifts. I think we're going to have a pretty predominant East Coast trough moving into the end of August, September. But we're going to have these little shifts that we could get a system move farther west. So that's what we have to be aware of, especially living across the United States. That's it for my update today. I will have another update for you guys either tomorrow or the next day. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Robert, ACANFRIO. Have a good day.